General Manager, Sri A.K. Verma, President Servo, Mrs. Verma, all the other dignitaries who are present here. To launch this kind of a program, we thought that we would discuss a little bit about lifestyle diseases and how possibly we can modify. We actually all know about these things. We have been told on various occasions, possibly more so in the media, in the newspapers, in all the television channels. There are dedicated television channels actually these days where you can see and watch these programs and these kind of things. But anyway, it's always better to have a recapitulation on these issues, and we are going to do this in the next 8 to 10 minutes. In the spectrum of healthcare, we know that there are 4 things primarily: the promotion, prevention, therapy and rehabilitation. And as usual, the promotion and prevention part always take kind of a backseat, because therapy, which is more, it's dramatic, it's pretty obvious, it's target oriented, so it is always better and it's always looked at by all the recipients of the healthcare. But there are many factors in our health status which actually influence our health status, and we cannot only say that our lifestyle is only the factor which we can change. There are many issues. In fact, from the time we are born, from then onwards, there are many things: where you have been born, how you have been educated, what are the things which have influenced you during the course of your life, during your education period, everything. So these are the issues which we should look at while considering the health status of an individual. When we talk about statistics, we always fall back on the United States, because that is the the doyen of statistics in the world, and India is far lagging behind. So these are the leading causes of death, which we had basically this was published only about a few weeks back. Few weeks back, you can see here that ischemic heart disease and cerebrovascular disease, these two are taking the leading position at this moment, and it will do so in 2030 also. So that is going to be the first and the second causes, the main causes of death. But the important issue is that diabetes mellitus, which is currently holding a position of 11, is going to be the 7th killer disease in 2030. So diabetes mellitus is another lifestyle disease which we can possibly do something about it. And more importantly, you can see at the bottom, the colon and rectal cancers and the liver cancer. These two are way down, 18, 19, but they are going to be up within the top 15 causes of, because a lot of publications are coming up now where we can see that lifestyle modifications can, in a way, prevent growth of cancers in our body also. So with this background, we come to the main topic of today, that what is a lifestyle disease? It is diseases which are caused partly by unhealthy behaviors and partly by other factors. And examples, you will know that atherosclerosis, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, stroke, hypertension, many forms of cancer also. Now the risk factors of these diseases, when determining a risk factor, there are 2 types of risk factors. We all know that it is anything that increases the likelihood of injury, disease or other health problems. There could be controllable and uncontrollable risk factors. The controllable risk factors are those which the habits, behaviors and practices that we possibly can change, and they are our diet and body weight, our daily levels of physical activity, our level of sun exposure, and smoking and alcohol abuse. So these are the few things. There are many other things also, but these are the few controllable risk factors which we can always modify. The next comes the uncontrollable risk factors, which contribute to your chances of developing a lifestyle disease, but which is out of your control. We can see here that age is obviously not in our control. Gender, there are few diseases which are more prevalent in the men folk, and there are few diseases which are more common in women folk. And then ethnicity is another important thing, because we know that the Asians, we suffer less from heart diseases, but the Americans, the Europeans, they suffer more from heart diseases. Then there are other diabetes, particularly the Mexican Americans, they suffer more from diabetes mellitus. So these kind of ethnicity also come into play. Then heredity, again another factor which is not in our control. Again, that is breast cancer. It can run in generations. The mother, then the daughter, it's like that. The chances of developing that increases. So this kind of heredity also plays a role in risk factor, in being a risk factor. So while considering this, so then we must think about that what is wellness, why we should keep well ourselves. Wellness is an approach to life where you aim at recognizing the risk factors that could lead to life-threatening diseases in the future and thereafter work towards reducing them. So that is wellness, and we all are trying to achieve this in possibly in a conscious way, but at times in a subconscious way also. Now, what are the health risk factors? We all know that there are many risk factors which we are familiar with. High blood pressure, smoking, improper nutrition, lack of activity, as I was telling, self-medication, one important aspect, diabetes, alcoholism, obesity, stress, drugs. There are many things. I think the list can be endless, but these are the more important ones. Now, why is wellness important? Because we all know that an apple a day is always make you, kind of healthy. But then it is important because the way in which we live has a lot to do with our health. Chronic diseases like high blood pressure, diabetes are caused because of our unhealthy lifestyle. The good thing, the only good thing about these so-called lifestyle diseases are that they are reversible. So it is in your hand, we can do something about it. So that makes it a little more comfortable. So we should make wellness a part of your lifestyle, a part of your life, and there actually comes this annual medical checkup that we are launching today. So recognizing the risk factors, annual medical checkup, self-analysis, reducing the health risk factors, and lifestyle modification. So these are the few things which you should consider a part of your life. And while doing so, one must do a self-analysis also. These are the 9 questions which we all should ask ourselves, that how much score can we do on these self-analysis tests. That are you a non-smoker? Do you check your blood pressure regularly? Do you drink within limits? I think you can understand what drink I am talking about. Do you avoid self-medication? Do you take time off each day to relax? This is, I think, very seldom we do. Do you take minor hassles in your stride? Again, this is another factor which possibly we know, but we hardly practice. Are you at your ideal body weight? Do you eat a balanced diet? And do you exercise regularly? So there is one point to each of these 9 questions. So either yes or no. You have to be true to yourself. And then comes the score. If it is between 7 to 9, you are in an excellent position. And if you are 5 to 7, you are possibly good, can be better. 3 to 5 is poor, and 0 to 3 obviously is very poor. And somebody has to drag you up, some motivation somewhere, possibly your spouse or other family members, or maybe somebody else can do this for you. Now, maintaining body weight is one important aspect among all these, which one must take care of, because obesity can be defined as an excess accumulation of fat in the body, which could be localized or generalized, and which increases the body weight to more than 20% of the ideal body weight. So this is by definition. And the types of obesity, it again depends on the male and female. It's for the male it is 0.87 and women is 0.85. It is between the waist and the hip body fat ratio. There are gradation of fat deposition also. I'm not going into those details. But we can see the prevalence. When we talk about obesity, we know that the Western world is more obese than us, but even in Southeast Asia, of course in this list again India doesn't figure. This is a WHO publication in 2002. You can see here that the female are more obese than the males counterparts in all the countries, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia and Vietnam. So this is what we must take care of, particularly the women who are present here. So the guidelines after all this should be that one should accept responsibility for your health because you are responsible for your health. Implement a sensible approach to diet, exercise and alcohol consumption. Do not smoke and avoid secondary smoke as well. This is very, very important. Use authority and influence to encourage positive and discourage negative attitude and behavior. Be good role models to others so that everybody can learn from you. And stay informed and seek advice from the health professionals. There the role of self-medication comes in. One should not do a self-medication. Now we know that we have come to that stage that you have made it this far. Keep going a little longer, and you will see the sunrise on a beautiful next day. So that is what we are talking about of our health. Because if our health only permits, then we can do all these endeavors. What we will do today is what is going to give us the benefit on the next day. So we should remember that improving the quality and the longevity of your life is now in your hands with these practices and possibly inculcating few more things in your lifestyle. It may require persistence and commitment, but only you can take control of your life. Best of luck to all of you. Thank you.